Hey guys, today we're diving into that strange emotional twist. You're doing fine, genuinely fine, and then out of nowhere, you miss someone you thought you were completely over. You're in line at the grocery store, maybe scrolling through your playlist, and boom, there it is, that pang. A scent, a phrase, a random lyric pulls you straight back into a connection you swore you'd buried. It's disorienting. You're tempted to question your progress, like maybe you never truly moved on. But here's the truth. What you're feeling doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're human. So before we go deeper into today's topic, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. You trudge through your Tuesday like normal, coffee in hand, inbox flooding, and then you spot someone wearing a hoodie that looks just like theirs. That familiar ache blooms in your chest. But here's the twist. This doesn't mean you want them back. It means your body and brain still remember the way things felt. Emotions don't operate on clean breakups. You can walk away logically and still carry emotional residue in your nervous system. What's happening here is called emotional memory. Unlike factual memory, where you remember details, names, or timelines, emotional memory locks in the way someone made you feel. Warmth, safety, drama, excitement, chaos, validation, even pain, and your brain stores all that somatic data like a playlist. Sometimes a song just autoplays without your permission. This gets heightened when your environment mirrors your past. Same weather, same lighting, same song in the background. Your body links it all like a memory cocktail. Suddenly, you're not in 2025. You're back in that dim kitchen, watching them laugh while burning eggs. That's your amygdala lighting up. It's not trying to mess with you. It's trying to protect you by saying, hey, we've been here before. And then there's the Zeigarnik effect, where the brain tends to loop unfinished emotional business. Even if you've moved on, if the ending felt abrupt, confusing, or unresolved, your brain keeps poking at it like a loose tooth, not because you want to fix it, but because your brain hates loose ends. Now throw in one more layer: loneliness, stress, or boredom. These moments act like emotional amplifiers. Maybe you've had a rough week. Maybe everyone seems busy and you're alone with your thoughts. So your brain digs up a greatest hits reel from the past, and who stars in it? That person. Not because they're the best, but because they're archived under comfort once. Let's break it down with a simple example. Say you used to walk your dog every night with someone you've since left behind. It was routine. Now, months later, you're on a solo evening walk, earbuds in, same path, and you feel off. Melancholy seeps in. You miss them. But it's not about them. It's about the sense of familiarity your brain tied to that walk. The emotional weight of routine becomes memory glue. What you're experiencing is emotional echoes, the waves after the initial impact. And here's what makes it all so tricky. Emotional echoes can show up even if the person was toxic, even if the relationship was unhealthy. Because pain can still be familiar, and the brain doesn't always label familiar as bad. One last twist: nostalgia. It isn't just remembering, it's remembering with rose-colored filters. Your brain blurs the sharp edges, rounds out the harsh words, polishes the memories until what's left feels sweeter than reality ever was. And that's when longing creeps in, not for the person, but for the edited version of them. So if you find yourself missing someone you've already outgrown, don't panic. You're not backsliding. You're just catching an echo. Let it play. Let it pass. Because healing doesn't erase memory, it reshapes your response to it. And just when you think you've made peace with those emotional echoes, your brain throws you another curveball, and this one's wired deep. You see, your mind isn't built to forget what's familiar. In fact, it's constantly scanning for patterns, seeking out repetition because it feels safer than the unknown. So even after you've moved on, your brain quietly favors the old over the unfamiliar, even if that old was chaotic, confusing, or entirely wrong for you. You walk into a coffee shop, order something new, and sit by the window, trying to embrace the change. But your brain doesn't like change, not at first. It craves predictability. That's why it brings up their name when you least expect it. Why your chest tightens a little when you smell their cologne on someone else. Your prefrontal cortex might be all in on your new life, but your limbic system, it's still walking backward through the archives. That's where cognitive dissonance sneaks in. It's the mental tug of war between the part of you that knows better and the part that just misses the rhythm. You're thriving, doing better, but you suddenly find yourself scrolling through old photos, your thumb hovering over the delete button. Part of you wants to preserve it all, the good, the bad, the blurry screenshots of half-hearted apologies, because your brain equates keeping those fragments with keeping part of your identity intact. And there's another twist. Stress makes the past seductive, not in a rational way, but in a soothing way. When life gets messy, uncertainty at work, weird silence from friends, a car that won't start, your brain launches a search party for something it already understands, like a muscle memory of how it felt to be held, even if the person holding you was the same one who made you cry on Tuesdays. Your brain says, we've done that pain before, we can survive it again, but this new stress, that's unpredictable. That's the trap. Your brain favors survivable chaos over unknown peace. Let's anchor that with a story. Imagine you're a few months into a new relationship. It's steady, kind, no drama. But one night, you're watching a show that reminds you of your ex, and suddenly you miss the fire. Not because the fire was good, but because it burned in a shape you recognize. That's attachment familiarity at work. Your emotional blueprint, shaped over years, still thinks love must feel like adrenaline, even if it cost you your peace. So you reminisce. But here's what you often forget. The brain doesn't store memory like a balanced file. It stores it like a highlight reel. When you miss someone you've outgrown, you're usually not missing the whole them. You're missing how you once felt about yourself when you were with them. The thrill, the validation, the version of you that was reflected back through their attention. And that right there is the emotional sleight of hand. You're not really longing for the person. You're longing for a former self. The one who laughed differently, dressed a little more boldly, or felt needed. That's why these feelings can sneak up on you long after closure. Because they're not just about love, they're about identity. Your brain is a powerful pattern machine. It looks for meaning, even in silence, even in absence. And sometimes it assigns meaning to emotional noise just to fill in the blanks. That's why a quiet moment on a rainy day can feel like an invitation to mourn someone you don't even want back. The rain didn't cause it. Your brain's pattern memory did. But here's the key takeaway. Feeling something doesn't mean you should act on it. Missing someone isn't a verdict. It's just a ripple. You can miss someone deeply and still know without hesitation that you're better off where you are now. You can feel the pull and not follow it. That's not weakness. That's growth. So next time your mind drifts to someone you've already said goodbye to, don't panic. Don't judge. Just observe. You're witnessing the beautiful, frustrating complexity of your own psychology, how it loops, replays, reaches for comfort even when it no longer fits. And slowly, those echoes get quieter. The pull gets gentler. You start to crave the present more than the past. And that, right there, is real freedom. And if you've made it this far, here's something to hold on to. Your mind missing someone doesn't erase the progress you've made. Healing isn't a straight line, and missing the past doesn't mean you're meant to return to it. Think of it like this quote by Carl Jung. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. What you feel isn't fate, it's just residue, just memory doing its thing. And as Viktor Frankl once said, between stimulus and response, there is a space. That space is where your power lives. So breathe through the echoes, let them pass, choose what serves you now,